19.
Great.
557.
Okay.
Total.
Rushing yards.
8.4 per play. 138.
How many rushing yards? We get him over
79, I think. He didn't make it.
we get him over 1,200 though?
1,200.
I'm sure he's over 2.
Did he need, no, just under? He needed 83.
Thanks, Ollie.
Hey, what's up, baby?
EQ hat.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Picture.
Thank you, Shipley.
How do you feel?
Feel great.
Tell me about 2004 when you first came here. Tell us a story about that compared to right now. Do you ever think back about those days, what it was like?
They weren't fun. I mean, my first year going 4-and.
You were playing defense, weren't you?
Playing defense, yeah, and then going 4-7 or whatever we were, 4-8. Wasn't fun, but I mean, there was a bunch of guys that believed, that saw beyond what was happening at that point, and we all came together and eventually turned things around.
Who do you remember in particular, guys that you befriended right away?
Well, just coming in as a defensive player. I mean, growing up in Western Pennsylvania, Paul Pizlozny and I were great friends from the start, and then Ed Johnson, Jay Alfred, and those guys took me under their wing, and there was a great cast of characters. We just needed a couple players, a couple guys needed to buy into the fact, and we were able to do that.
But how much hope did you have at the time? I mean, it was that was the 4th year out of 5 with a losing season. Describe the overall team attitude? Were they despondent or what? Like the seniors?
I can't remember.
It's a long time
6
ago.
plays ago, let alone 4 years ago. But for the most part, I mean, I think everybody believed that we were one step away, and we finally got that step the next year, and haven't looked back since.
You played a lot of tackle, right?
D-tackle, yeah.
Hey, Q, can you talk a little bit about the squad meeting? I know Joe supposedly got pretty emotional in there, and you guys did. And did it almost throw you guys off guard to see him get that?
Yeah, well, I don't think we expected that. I mean, that was a pretty touching scene to watch him. I think he lost control of his emotions there for a second. I mean, it was pretty tough to watch for a while. I mean, I think he's looking back on this year and realizing what we've accomplished with this group, and knows it's a pretty special group, I think. And I think for the most part, he just lost control of his emotions a little bit, and it was very touching. I mean, you could see everybody listening as attentive as possible, and I think we saw where he was coming from the true heart.
You never saw that before out of him?
We've seen it before. I think he's broken down a couple times, but not to the extent of what he did this past time. It was, like I said, it was pretty touching, pretty real moment.
Why do you think he got that emotion?
I don't know. I think again,
this class. I mean, you guys mean a lot to as far as the program getting turned around.
I think so. I think everyone in my class is fifth-year guys. I mean, again, Derek's class as well, but. As fifth-year guys, we committed on a 3-9 season and came in on a 4-7 season. Had enough belief in him, had enough belief in the coaches, and like I said, we were able to look beyond what was happening at that point. And I think he'll always hold a special place in my class and Derek's class for that reason.
Did you think that meant anything to you guys as far as how you played tonight? Thinking back on it, not
Joe?
Win one for the Gipper kind of thing. I mean, obviously you want to win for your seniors and for yourself, etc. But also win one for Joe, who's almost 82, and a lot of people have been taking shots at him.
Yeah, I think obviously, I mean, you always want to win, obviously, for your teammates. I mean, he's made it known to you guys. He's made it known to us that he wants to take the focus off of him and put it on us. And he's mentioned numerous times that this is our team, not his team. And but in retrospect, you got to look back and think, look, I mean, he's 82 years old, and he's gone through a tough year in terms of his hip this year. And we obviously wanted him to have this win and get another Big Ten title.
What were your options back then, AQ, in 04 and 03 when you committed? And what did Joe do to sway you? What were you thinking about? Who were you thinking about?
My final three were Ohio State, Michigan, and here. And Ohio State, Michigan, I think we're coming off great years. And the main factor was I developed a great relationship with Coach Bradley and was able to. I was close enough where I was able to get up to enough games and enough visits up here to see the direction this program was heading and the direction that the guys were heading, and being able to see the family type atmosphere and the camaraderie of that group, it was pretty amazing, and that's what I fell in love with. Obviously, coming to see 110,000 people watch a 3-9 team and still being as cheerful as possible. I mean, you can't look past that. So that was one of the main things, and I think looking back on it, I think it was a great decision.
What was the tunnel like before the game? How tough was that?
It was tough. I was trying to hold it in. I'm looking around, Lydell, Derek, and Josh. I started losing it there for a sec, but I mean, it's a tough situation. It's the last time we're coming out of that tunnel, and we've had a lot of great games. I think 26-2 coming out of that tunnel, so it's not a bad time at home. So I mean, it was tough. It was very tough at first, but once we came out for captains, it was game time.
Go ahead.
Well, how do you parlay that into a positive as opposed to being overwhelmed by emotion and going out there and maybe not playing well?
No, you got to be able to control your emotions. There's times where again, you score a touchdown, you're as high as can be, but you got to be quick to forget in this game. I think I've said that plenty of times before, and you got to be able to, when things are going good, you got to be able to feel that high for a second, get back and ground yourself back to normal again. And again, like that, I mean, we were obviously emotional. We were happy for one another, sad in the same sense, but once it came time to come out for captains and come out for the game, I think everybody was ready to go.
There were about 10,000 rumors going around. Joe's going to retire at halftime. They're going to name the stadium after him. He's going to retire after the game. Did you hear any of that?
What did he do? Did he do anything?
No, he just came in here and talked to us and said he's
going to go out and recruit. Watch the tape.
Come back next year.
Well, good. I think.
Did you hear any of that stuff, though?
Yeah, I mean, people were, I think that was floating around. My parents were asking me about it, and everybody's asking me about it. I had no idea, and then, I was curious to hear what happened, and you guys say nothing happened. So
you had a really good game. I mean, did you funnel some of that energy Mark was talking about, or you just happen to have a good game? How does that work?
Well, it's fun to play against Michigan State, especially when a middle linebacker, 53, likes to talk a lot.
No, that's Jones.
So we were going back and forth a little bit. And I played against Kershaw in a big 33, 97 to D tackle. So we've known these guys a while, and those guys have been starters the last couple of years. So again, when there's this to play for, I think everybody's playing at their best level.